we are live. Hello.
Oh,
And
Yay!
welcome to Throwing the Podcast. I am Club
The
Kyle.
first episode.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's the very first episode.
Yep.
I'm
Yep. I
quite
am.
excited to do this podcast with
Yep.
you guys.
Yep. I am Club Kyle, and joining me today is Kevin Putman in Shadows of Men,
Oh,
Veltris in Riptide, and DM of the Looming Shadows of Caesarea, Jacob. Also joining,
howdy.
also joining me is Ella Quinn in Shadows of Men, Marlowe and Marks in the Looming Shadows of Caesarea, and DM of Riptide, Titan.
Heyo!
Yep. So, a few ground rules to establish. First off, we're not on a set schedule. So, like, we could do this Saturday, we could do this whenever. It just depends on when we feel like it and when I upload to the YouTube VOD.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Second,
Huh?
topics will just be completely random. Sometimes we'll go on like what's popular. Sometimes we'll just talk about things we want to. There is no set like rule. Just nothing too, you know, you
You
know,
know,
too real life ish.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't
You know
don't
something.
don't make it to where it can apply to someone's personal life.
Yep. And third, I will be mainly hosting on my channel. And the guests who I talk to will switch out, so it won't always be Jacob and Titan. I will typically be a constant until someone else downloads Streamlabs and can stream on Twitch.
Yep. I mean, that's fair. You know something actually, real quick, to start us off with a little topic, real quick.
We were
If that's
gonna
all right.
we had a topic to be fair, but
Oh, I mean, okay. Well, we
Yeah.
can start it with that.
what were you gonna talk about, Jacob?
Well, actually, it was more of an idea. You know, something we could do, honestly, that would be cool, is do a improv of some of our favorite scenes from movies.
Oh, we can do that a different time. That would be a good topic for discussion a different time. For now, though, we are talking about Star Wars. Now, let's take a moment to be silent as people complain. Okay.
It's the best
British.
series you've ever seen. You can't shit on it.
Yep. Alrighty. Now we got that out of the way. We are going to be talking about the spin-offs, mainly TV series and spin-off movies. So,
Yep.
Might as well force our way into it.
boo. But speaking of something super forceful, let's talk about Solo.
Oh yeah.
How I have seen Solo. Who else between the two of you? Who has seen Solo?
I have not. I've been meaning to.
I haven't, but I've heard a lot about it.
Okay, so I'm the only one here. It was very mediocre.
Yeah, from what I can tell, nobody knows what the
Well,
hell
no
went
one
on it.
wanted this movie, to be fair. Like, out of all the people you could create a spin-off for, no one was really demanding a Han Solo movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, it is owned by Disney, so they're probably, they
Yeah.
want to make a quick buck out.
Oh, they
out of
were.
it.
And it didn't
Yeah,
work.
but there were a lot of other characters they could have followed that would have been better.
I mean, yeah, but also it didn't work because this movie was the lowest box office return for a Star Wars movie ever.
An Ahsoka Tano movie would have been cool.
She's gonna
You
be
know,
in the
between
Mandalorian. Apparently in season.
I mean, but between the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels would be like, what she did entirely
Oh,
after that.
Okay, that actually does sound like a decent enough movie, but or the very least a
Yeah,
TV
that
show.
could be good, but
I
at the
think it should be a
same
TV
time,
show.
that's a little bit. Yeah,
I
that'd be
think it should
better
be
as a TV show.
I think yeah. Now,
Yeah,
but going back to
okay.
Solo, as a guy who saw it, let me give you my reaction. I was sitting down eating dinner, and the TV was on, and then I saw a teaser for Buy Solo on Blu-ray and digital. And I was like, "Holy shit, that did come out recently." That's the impact it left.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot it was a movie for a long time.
Yeah, it is the most
Well-
forgettable Star Wars movie.
To be fair, they kind of threw that entire advertisement like right under the bus because then you got Disney Plus coming out and it's just like, oh yeah, all these Star Wars movies, they're on Disney Plus. Go
Well,
buy
this was
Disney
before.
Plus
This was
instead.
way before Disney Plus,
Yeah, no, it came out long before then.
which like a decade, like what feels like a decade ago. Dark Ages, everyone.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But like seriously, like it came out, it sat there, and then it sat there some more.
yeah, and like the problem was like again, no one really wanted this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't help that they changed directors halfway through and did a bunch of reshoots that kind of made the movie feel a little disjointed. It's not bad by any means, but the problem is it's not anything. It's just Solo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty? I mean, they did a lot better having memorable stuff in our next spin-off movie, Rogue One.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Still haven't seen it, but
Okay, Jacob.
I mean,
please
I knew
tell me.
it existed.
So honestly, Rogue One was honestly based on what it wasn't that bad of a movie. It was actually pretty decent.
And I would like to say at this point we are going to go into spoilers because there was not a lot to spoil.
Also,
in Solo.
heads up, if I say something that's wrong, it's because I know jack shit about Star Wars.
Yep. But so we're going to talk about spoilers now. So Rogue One, it had a lot of good moments, specifically towards the end, didn't it?
Oh, the beach landing
Oh
to
my
go and
God.
take down the towers. That was very
really well shot.
choreographed.
As well as well
And that
shot.
was a really good
Like that was a really well shot sequence on the beach where they were trying to steal the Death Star plans.
Oh yeah.
The actors in the movie did okay. The only real standout character was that droid the one that was voiced by that British comedian
You know it's bad whenever you start to call it the only real standout character, and you can't remember.
the K2SO.
I mean, it could have been a while ago before.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, to be fair, but
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
like K2SO was the best comic relief you could ever ask for in a movie. He was like C-3PO if you took out all the whiny and gave him a better personality.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is played by Alan Tudyk. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
All words are made up.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly.
The rest of the cast,
Just a bunch of random blabber that we decided had meaning.
The rest of the cast, some of them were standouts. The blind guy with the stick, the guardian
Oh.
of the temple guy, he was a really fun character. But that's because, again, like you said, Jacob, really good choreography.
Yeah, that blind guy was that guy was really cool.
He really was. But
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There isn't that many blind people within the Star Wars universe. Well, at least in the Star Wars movies and
yeah.
shows. But those that generally are blind are the ones that are pretty cool.
Typically, though, I think
That could also go very wrong, though.
It can,
That too.
but he was cool. He was really cool. But I think what people remember most about the movie was the last 5 minutes. Because we had just gotten a really good battle on land. We also got a really cool space battle. And then came the hallway scene.
Yeah, the hallway scene was really that was pretty good. I mean,
my god.
overall,
Like, all those rebels just firing hopelessly on Darth Vader. That was like the best Darth Vader scene in all of Star Wars history.
it'd be just like the that actually dang. Then again, it has been quite a while
Well, I
since
mean,
I've seen it.
Okay,
I mean-
so the rebels are on their ship. The ship from episode 4, Tativ 4, I believe. I might be mispronouncing that.
Did they recreate that scene in that movie?
No, they didn't, but it led up to it. So what happened was all the rebels were evacuating to the ship because they had the plans to the Death Star. All the main cast had died. Again, I said spoilers. The Death Star wiped them out without destroying the planet. They're
Yeah,
in a
because it's
hallway
the fucking
where you
Death
hear
Star.
you hear the hallway where there's nothing alarms. The lights go out, and then they return it. as red when Darth Vader's lightsaber ignites. They open fire on him, and he just kills all of them. They barely get the plans out of there. Like, it just came out of nowhere, because, like, you thought he was going to be wasted because they had that god-awful dad pun. Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director. As he's force choking the villain of the movie. Oh yeah, right. That movie had a villain.
Yeah, no, it did.
Director Krennic. Weird how I remember his name. Oh yeah, also they had the god-awful CGI Tarkin.
Yeah,
Well, Uncanny Valley looking, because the actor who played Grandma Tarkin had been dead for a while, so they used...
Well, actually, that actually wasn't the same. That wasn't.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, no,
the actor was dead.
That was Admiral. Well, no, it's not even that. It's a completely different character.
No, you're thinking of Krennic. You're thinking of Krennic. I'm talking about Tarkin.
No, I'm thinking of Radis. Tarkin?
I'm talking about Tarkin.
Thinking of the guy that was like, oh, it's a trap.
Oh, Akbar? That he was in that movie.
Yeah, Akbar.
We're talking about Rogue One.
Akbar wasn't in that movie. That was Admiral Radis.
Oh, yeah, the other one. No, I'm talking about the CGI effects on Tarkin to make him look like he was there. It was Uncanny Valley. It looked kind of good for a little bit, but then, like, it was so Uncanny Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Speaking of Tarkin, that guy in that one specific movie, or actually, in that specific movie is played by 1, 2, 3, 4 different people.
Yeah.
Apparently, Seth Green being one of them, which is surprising.
Yeah, because they used a body, obviously, and then they CGI'd over his face to make him look like the dead actor.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
Yeah, that usually doesn't turn out too well.
It depends on the movie. It didn't work here. Like, it was... Honestly, they could have replaced him with Darth Vader and they wouldn't have lost anything.
Yeah.
Because Vader, at the very least, has a mask, and people can do impressions of Vader.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, I can name, like, 20 people.
Hell, it was also kind of awkward when Carrie Fisher's... When Princess Leia was there with the CGI for, like, a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that movie did not do CGI too well.
No, well, the face CGI.
Not CGI faces.
Like, the actual space battle that was all CGI was fucking impressive. Like, they push a Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer that destroys the shield around the planet. It's awesome.
Yeah, that scene was pretty dope.
Again, like, yeah. But speaking of pretty dope, let's not talk about that with Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfair of me. It did have pretty dope moments in it, but Jacob, you have seen Rebels, correct?
I'd watch like a little bit of one episode, and then I was just like, no, I can't do it. Personally, I'm very biased against it.
That's how I felt watching the trailers.
Not Rogue One, but Star Wars Rebels.
Wow.
I might give it a chance after the summaries I just read. Though.
Okay. So...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was it was launched on a
Disney
a kids channel,
yeah.
but even then, like, the Cartoon Network is a kids channel, and they did a lot more stuff with the Clone Wars split.
It's Disney.
and that too.
Yeah, Disney just caters to a younger audience in general. They do,
and that's what made the writing suffer with, and I think it's most notable in the first 2 seasons with Ezra Bridger. Jacob, you saw brief images of Ezra. What did you think of him as a character?
Ezra
Bridger.
So, Ezra Bridger, he, as a character, I don't know. He just...
To me, personally... Oh, go ahead, Jacob. I thought you were done. Jacob?
Okay,
there you go.
I have I can't really. Him as a character just kind of. That's the main character, right?
Yeah, he was. He is the poster child of that series. Like every poster, like he
Um,
was definitely the main character.
yeah, I don't. I really don't think. I don't personally care for him as a character. From the brief moments that I actually watched the show, him as a character, again, the way he acts and how he is, just personally to me was a turnoff. I just didn't really like his character in general.
Well, the problem with Ezra Bridger, for me personally, is that while the voice actor did the best he could with the role, he falls under that trope of being the main character who's kid who is always right. He's the kid who the little kids are gonna watch and be like, "Hey, he's cool. I want to be him," and that rarely
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Power Rangers going around and be like,
Like,
it's
it could have worked if they went along just to kind of, like, show him that, like, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
you will fuck up.
Yeah, like, and granted, he does get a little bit more interesting as the series goes on. Like in season 3, there is like a brief moment where he kind of wants to go to the dark side, but they don't do much with it, which underlines my biggest problem with Rebels. They set up things that are kind of good, but they don't go anywhere for the most part.
Yeah.
Now-
That is a common thing I saw.
Now we'll get into the stuff that they did set off really good that like really
Mhm.
was great, but for now, there was just so much wasted potential in Rebels.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, okay, so there's this character in the show called Agent Callus. I might be picturing that. In the show, he was this Imperial agent who was hunting down the main characters. Now, in one episode,
Mhm.
he gets stuck with one of them, and they bond. And it was a really good episode. They learn a little bit about each other because the character who he's stuck with, Zeb, Callus had encountered a member of his race before, and their race has gun staff things. I can't remember what they're called, but they are of cultural significance to them. It's their
kind of
honor.
like a blow dart gun.
No. Like, think the Klingon weapons, like those weapons, like have honor to their family. That's essentially what those electrostats were to Zeb's race. Oh, and in the episode, previously we had saw that Callus had gotten one of them, and he said he killed one of Zeb's race. But then we find out in this episode that that before the member of Zeb's race died, he presented the staff to Callus. It was an honor kill. And that's when, and like after they're rescued, that's when Callus, like after interacting with this guy, starts to question the Empire. In a later season, he turns full-blown traitor to the Empire. He's a spy for the rebels at that point.
Mhm.
And after
Yeah.
that, he kind of drops off. Like, I don't remember them doing really anything with him after that. Like, he was there, and when he was there, it was kind of cool, but they never really delved into him after that.
Yeah.
So actually, speaking of which, so that makes sense. So I actually had to go and look up the Klingon weapons.
The Kalak.
God, do they look interesting?
Oh yeah, they look cool.
Klingon.
I mean,
Yeah, they do look cool.
honestly, Star Trek could be its own podcast, but for now, that was the underlining problem with many of the plot points in Rebels. They set up interesting ideas, but they don't go anywhere when all is said and done, for the most part.
Yeah, that was definitely, like I said, a common thing I saw. Like
Mhm.
they would bring up these really cool things that could have been great if they just flushed it out a little bit.
Yeah, and they never do. Now, with that being said, some of Rebels' high points and best characters were among my favorite. So, how much do you two know about Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Nothing. Jack's corner.
Okay. Jacob?
Nothing.
Okay. So before
built
Disney
a
bought
squad.
Star Wars and made the EU, yeah, okay. Before Disney bought Star Wars and made the EU non-canon, there was a character in there that led the remnant of the Empire named Thrawn. I don't know much about him because I never read too much into him, but I do know that he was a very beloved character in the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people loved him. And so when Rebels revealed that they were making him canon, people loved it. Now, I was worried because I thought they were going to do what they did with the Grand Inquisitor. Because in the beginnings of the show, I remember reading an article like where the writers were like, oh yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, the villain of season 1, he is this very calculating villain. He may lose, but he learns from it. It never felt like he did. Like, sure, if he never technically lost, the rebels just the main characters just escaped, but it didn't feel like he learned anything from it. Thrawn not only learns from his encounters, he takes nothing for granted. There is this fantastic scene on the Twi'lek planet, the people with the tendrils on the back of their head. Just look up a Twi'lek, you'll know what I mean. Where the pilot of the ghost ship named Hera wants to steal back her family's precious artifact. In Twi'lek culture, this artifact is very symbolic of a family. She gets caught, like she poses as a servant and gets caught trying to steal it. Now the normal officer, who is very standard Imperial, is like, hey, you, stop doing that. And then Thrawn walks in and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, sir. This scum was just trying to steal this worthless thing. You know what Thrawn does? I'm waiting for you guys to guess.
Tries to kill her?
No.
Tries to recruit her.
No. He knows what he is a man who knows the culture of the worlds he is invading. So he knows that this artifact is very important to only a family member. So not only does he know that this woman is a part of this guy's family, but he knows who she is because her father is leading the resistance against him on the planet. So he's like, hey, I know what this is. This is very important to family. So that means you have to be this person, the daughter of the guy who is fighting against me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the kind of villain Thrawn was. He never...
Yeah, one thing I noticed with, like, the first season was, like, it tried to make itself off, like, in the first season, it tried to be like, okay, yeah, we're a serialized show that's, like, going to be, like, this big thing. But a lot of it just ended up being problem of the week stuff.
Thrawn was never a problem of the week. He ended up becoming the main villain of the show at a certain point. And he was calculating. Every time, he always let the rebels escape because he drew up a map of their coordinates so he could find their base. He only failed in the invasion of their base because the traitor Callus was like, hey, he's going to get all the credit. Thrawn is, you, underling. You're going to get nothing. The underling was like, fuck it, I'm going to take this one guy out. But that broke Thrawn's plan, and thus the rebels were able to escape because of it. He was probably one of the best villains the show ever had.
Yeah.
And it's also impressive because most of the good stuff in Rebels was based off the Clone Wars. So let's delve into Maul in Rebels. How much do you two know about Maul?
I don't know a whole lot. I know he's supposed to be. I know he's like supposed to be a remnant of the Sith race, right?
He was the apprentice of Sidious. Jacob, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Oh boy.
Technical difficulties.
Yep,
The
yep.
thing we're known for.
Yeah, right. We're known for something.
I think. I don't know.
I'm just gonna message. For now, Maul was in the first episode, in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He was just a cool guy who did cool things.
Mm. And killed Qui-Gon.
Yes, cool things. Again, he was never a character though. He only had like 2 or 3 lines,
Yeah.
and he was just there to show off really cool choreography. Now we'll get into the Clone Wars in a minute, but the Clone Wars made him more of a character. Just to summarize that very quickly. Testing 1 2. Jacob, can you hear me?
So it seems Discord decided to be
A dick.
It does
decided
distortion.
to pull a Star Wars Rebel and not work.
Ha! That was good. Now,
Thank you.
Maul in Rebels, he was one of the consistently good things about Rebels because the voice actor for him, Sam Wither, I am butchering the shit out of that last name. I know I am. Does an amazing job with the character. I showed you guys the clip of him on Tatooine. You have to admit he did a good job there.
It really showed just how far transitioning from the Star Wars, like the Clone Wars, or even just like during Order 66, all the way over to post 66, just how messed up that guy is. And honestly, out of all the Rebels like stuff I've seen, that one's probably the best scene because like there's a
Honestly.
lot you can get from that.
Oh, yeah, and I will get into that in a minute. But for now, Maul in the show was never really the main villain. But he was an intimidating presence. He served as a foil for Ezra to consider the dark side, effectively the Sidious to Ezra's Anakin. Kanan being Obi-Wan.
I mean, honestly, the show would have been better if Darth Maul was the main villain, or at least up to a certain point.
I disagree with that. For a good reason.
I'm gonna be honest. Darth Maul's never like, really been a main villain character.
Someone has never seen someone has never seen the Clone Wars.
I haven't seen a lot of it, no.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna get into that, but for now, he had the capability of it because Clone Wars proved that he could. The problem is, they're in the age of the Empire. The Empire was always going to be the main villain. Maul was never a part of the Empire. He was supposed to be, and I say supposed because that's what he thought was going to happen when he was training under Sidious, but that never came to fruition.
Of course not.
I feel like
Sidious.
they did use Maul the best they could have. Self-serving, never the main focus, but always drew you in. It's especially apparent with his relationship to Ezra because there's this scene where he just breaks down because he's alone. Savage is dead. His criminal organization's gone. All he has left is revenge. And there is a moment where like he's telling Ezra, we could be brothers, friends. That was Maul crying out because he knew he had nothing other than revenge.
And just like that, all the Darth Maul fans actually decided to watch the show for once.
No, honestly, I'll be honest. When I saw the Comic-Con trailer for Rebels, when I saw Maul was in it, that's kind of what drew me in. But for season 2, like you see Darth Maul at his lowest, like, and I think part of the reason why he hunted down Obi-Wan at the end was either for revenge or so that he could finally die. And this puts into my absolute favorite moment in Rebels, and probably probably among the best moments in all of Star Wars, in my opinion. Ben Kenobi versus Maul. So
that fight is pretty good.
well, it's not the fight. It's the context, the dialogue, the setting, the music, all of it. With a few lines of dialogue, they get across their points. Maul is mocking Kenobi. saying how far he has fallen. But Obi-Wan just reports with, "You have nothing." And that gets under Maul's skin. What do you have? And then Maul figures out that Obi-Wan is on Tatooine to protect someone. And that's only when Obi-Wan ignites the lightsaber. And then he takes the stance of his master Qui-Gon Jinn. And it's like a gunslinger samurai showdown where like they're waiting to see who goes first. And then Maul goes on the attack. And he tries to use the same move that killed Obi-Wan's master Qui-Gon. But Obi-Wan tricked him and sliced Maul's lightsaber in half and cut him through the chest. And in his last moment, Maul lets go of his hate and asks if the person Obi-Wan is protecting is the chosen one. And Obi-Wan confirms it, and he says he will avenge us. That was the perfect way to end Maul's character. Letting go of his hate in the arms of the man who has taken everything from him. Obi-Wan took his position. Obi-Wan helped foil his plans. Obi-Wan was in part responsible for the Empire rising. So he let go in the arms of the man he hated most as he died. That, to me, is one of the best moments in all of Star Wars. Again, when the show gets its highs, when Filoni is in charge of, is allowed to do what he wants, he can do some really good stuff. It's worth noting that Dave Filoni directed and I believe wrote that episode.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth noting that. And finally, let's go to the things that... Oh, hey, we got a new follower.
Oh?
Gamer with benefits, I believe. But welcome. Let's go to the last really good thing about the show. Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader.
Oh.
I think
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
It was undoubtedly one of the best arcs in Rebels. So, since you've never seen Clone Wars Titan, Jacob.
I've seen it, but not a whole lot.
Not enough to know the context, but Jacob, you've seen all Clone Wars, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I have seen up to.
Tell me.
I've seen all the seasons of current. I mean, yeah.
What did you think of the relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano?
Honestly, that relationship in particular,
between Master
it was better than Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It was a highlight of the show because they became friends and deeply cared for one another. You remember?
Oh yeah, they practically became family.
Exactly, and we all knew that Anakin Skywalker would become Darth Vader. Spoilers. We all knew he would become that one day. So, amidst the relationship, there was a borderline sense of tragedy that you knew was going to befall the relationship because you knew what events would transpire.
Yeah, there was always a big tension around that.
And
there really was a big tension around
when
that.
Ahsoka Tano left the Jedi Order, before Season 7 came out and before Filoni released the stuff that he was going to do, there was a sense of relief because you felt as though Ahsoka Tano could survive Order 66, which she does. And that leads into Rebels. In the show, Ahsoka finds out about Vader, and after connecting through the Force, begins to suspect that her old master is Darth Vader. And finally, on Malachor, where they're in a Sith temple that was also a battle station, didn't make a lot of sense in the context of the show at all, if I'm going to be honest. but still a good setting. She finally confronts Vader face to face. And after some dialogue, she says, I believe, I was beginning to think I knew who you were under the mask, but it's impossible. My master could never have been as cruel as you. And Vader responds with, Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him. Ahsoka Tano. Then I will avenge his death. Vader. That is not the... Revenge is not the Jedi way. Ahsoka. I am no Jedi. And then they fight. Again, when the show was allowed to do its own thing, it could really pull off some high notes. The fight itself was decent. Really actually a highlight. And then the ending of it came. Jacob, are you familiar with that fight at any point?
What, at the end of the Rebels?
With Ahsoka and Vader.
Was that at the end of the Clone Wars or at the end
No,
of the...
no, at the end of season 2 of Rebels. Did you ever see Ahsoka Tano versus Darth Vader?
I've never watched this.
Okay.
Like, I've watched part of one episode, and that was halfway somewhere between the series.
So at the end of the fight, Vader clearly is the better combatant. She knocks Ahsoka off the temple, mirroring the Sword escape where Ahsoka jumps out of the sewers to escape into Coruscant when she's being hunted because they believe she was a fugitive. Vader looks down at her. You know, it's obviously meant to represent that. As opposed to Ahsoka, you know. Ahsoka gets back up and gets Vader from behind. He barely manages to block it, but gets part of his mask where his right eye is. And as she gets up, she hears Anakin's voice, same voice actor from the Clone Wars. I can't remember his name, but he does a good job saying her name. And Ahsoka realizes, oh shit, he is Anakin Skywalker. And as Vader gets up, as Ezra and Kanan are escaping from the Doom Temple, she states that she won't leave him, not again. And there was a moment where Vader, you could see a little bit of Anakin Skywalker left in Vader. But he ultimately stays Darth Vader, as we knew. And it's left, and the temple door closes, and we are left to wonder if Vader killed Ahsoka. Because obviously Vader was never going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck no. It's
All right.
Vader.
That was...
No, it was...
Yeah.
It was Vader. And also, I believe it was, that particular actor for Vader in the Rebels was
James
Hayden
Earl Jones. It was not Hayden Christensen. It was not. It was the same voice actor for Anakin in the Clone Wars. That was not Hayden Christensen. They did get James Earl Jones to voice Darth Vader in the Rebels series, but Hayden Christensen had nothing to do with Anakin in that show. You want to know how that fight ended? Oh, how so?
Yeah, how so?
He was not involved in anything. Hayden Christensen. He did not voice Anakin. He didn't do anything. They just got a different voice actor for Anakin.
Interesting.
Anyways, so the fight concludes. Now, this is resolved in season 4. Ezra winds up in this nexus of the Force where he can... Fuck it, I'm just gonna state the obvious. Time travel. Time travel happened. There are doors that go to specific moments in the Star Wars franchise, and he sees Ahsoka about to be killed by Vader, but he pulls her out of there into the Nexus, and Vader just leaves the temple, assuming she died. It was dumb. Like, it was kind of dumb. It kind of worked in context, but it was still really dumb.
Yeah, that'd be dumb.
Time travel in Star Wars.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility, but...
It's still kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, it is. That is pretty dumb.
Yeah. And
Because if it just exists like that, there were so many points where that would have been like something that would have came into play.
right, also, it kind of did ruin that moment for me because like pulling Ahsoka out of the temple kind of ruined the impact of the scene a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because they had this really good idea, and then they just didn't go all the way with it. Because again, kids show.
Well, yeah, of course.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Ahsoka Tano die at all. But if they had said flat out that Vader had killed her in that moment, I would have been okay with it.
Except not, because, you know, it's Disney.
Well,
We're always left, for the most part, with, we're gonna assume that she's dead.
alrighty. But speaking of Ahsoka Tano, it's time to delve into one of the greatest pieces of Star Wars media out there, Dave Filoni's Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Woo!
I know a
And not
little
the
bit about
movie.
this. I'm not completely useless.
You're not always useless.
So,
Here, Titan. For the rest of this, you know what you can do?
I'll hold the boom mic.
No, you can hold the lightsaber. Just hold the lightsaber.
Alright.
That's a. Well, I want to say it's a better job, but really it's a worse job and a bit of a down.
I just want to state how irresponsible you are handing me a lightsaber.
I think anyone
Right.
handing-
You know what? That's okay. I'm gonna give you the lightsaber with the safety on. Don't worry.
Like lightsabers have safeties.
Right, actually
I mean,
they do.
In 2 minutes. next
do
thing
they
you know,
really?
you're
Yeah,
gonna-
okay.
Who's-
So, a little off
who's,
topic, but
Mark?
when they're training younglings in the temple, they have a safety version of the lightsaber that burns but doesn't cut through skin.
That only slightly makes sense.
Slightly. And, like, it can deflect lasers and stuff, but it's somehow not able to cut through limbs.
I mean, it could still kill someone.
I mean, like, if you batter them to death with it, yeah. But in the original EU, Obi-Wan and this other youngling had a fight, like an all-out fight, and neither one of them died.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is really, really weird. But moving on
Anywho, back on topic.
let's go on to the Clone Wars. The CGI one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yep. Jacob, you have seen all of the series. What was your impression on it?
So there has been so I won't lie, at some point in time, I only saw up to I think season like 5 or even 4, I think, and then I had to go back and rewatch season 6 and 7. But honestly, the first season, I personally liked it. The seasons were all good. Though season 1 was definitely one of those ones where you
Yeah.
it was
finding its footing.
personally, there was a really few good episodes up there, but I don't think anything really started kicking up until season 2, especially with the introduction.
Yeah.
If I'm not
I know, like, the
mistaken, at
big
the
deterrent
end-
for me, because, like, I was watching it when I was young, and my brain of, like, 6 years old could not, like, get into it because, like, it just seems so slow-paced to me.
Season 4 was the introduction of Darth Maul, I believe, Jacob, if that's what you're going to talk about.
No, I was thinking of the end of season 1 being, starting up more interactions with Cad Bane. Because that was one of the best characters in the series.
That's right. We will get into him in a second, but season 1 felt like they were still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work.
Which, I mean, makes sense, because they kind of
Also-
had to do that.
It's the first season.
Exactly, and the voice actors for Anakin and Ahsoka were still also trying to find their footing. But
And they also kind of
mean-
had Lucas breathing down their neck.
If that's the
They
case,
might
I
have.
mean, that's probably why they had an entire episode, which still to this day is one of the best episodes in the entire Clone Wars
Cad Bane.
series. No,
Oh.
was an entire episode dedicated to the clones. More specifically, when they're on the bunker
Oh.
or in the bunker,
Oh
and
my
Captain
God.
Rex and Commander
Cody.
Cody, if I'm not mistaken,
This is the
showed
introduction of
up.
Fives and Echo.
Yeah, Fives and
That-
Echoes.
Yeah.
By far one of the best episodes in the entire series.
Yeah,
More
that's
specifically,
right.
the moment where it's like, open the doors. It's like, and then I forgot how it goes, but I remember the droids were like, "Hey, open up," and then Captain Rex was like, "No, I won't." And then they finally get in there, and he comes out with a flipping minigun. He's like, "You didn't say please."
Yeah.
He just
That was.
tears
I
him
think that
up.
was Heavy. I think Heavy had the minigun, but
It might have been heavy.
Well, I mean, that was the episode that really started to humanize the clones. Part of the problem with the clones in the original, in the prequel trilogy, they were just soldiers. They were not characters.
They didn't have a lot of focus on them.
Yeah, honestly, the Clone Wars helped the episode 3 at the very least by giving it more stakes.
Yeah, episode 1 and 2 really, it was...
Okay. I know everyone says episode 1 is the worst. I disagree. Not to get too off our topic, I think Attack of the Clones is the worst Star Wars movie, hands down.
From what I've heard, that's a universally agreed topic.
No, like, people typically hate Phantom Menace because it had more Jar Jar. I adamantly believe that episode 2 is worse because episode 1 was bad, but it had Darth Maul, some really good choreography that did not rely too heavily on CGI, and at the very least was memorable.
To be
I
fair,
know the music was very fucking...
Oh yeah, Duel of the
the
Fates.
music was really good,
I mean, Duel of the Fates.
but I think what a lot of people had...
that literally is carry it out throughout.
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Jacob.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, I think the reason a lot of people don't, like, really don't like the first episode is it honestly felt a little bit too slow paced. Compared to the other movies, there wasn't a lot of action to it.
I don't know. It actually seemed like it was trying to rush itself along at a lot of points.
It was doing both, but we're not here to talk about the prequels. We're here to talk about the good stuff. So, Clone Wars. Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. The bunker episode where we meet Echo and Fives was honestly one of the best they ever did.
Oh, it was. Honestly, ever since Clone Wars, like, don't get me, like, without Clone Wars, I don't think any, like, at least, like, personally, like, for me, it really, how can I put it? So without the Clone Wars, or the Clone Wars TV show, it definitely gave, the clones themselves a bit more life to them and actually allowed people to care, like, to show people that, hey, they're, even though these guys were side
they
characters,
aren't just
in the
carbon
movies,
copies of the same person who happens to have no
exactly.
personality.
They are living human, beings.
And to that point, it also gave more tragedy to Order 66 because we got to know that all the clones had distinct personalities. They had formed bonds with the Jedi they were serving under for the most part, except for the ones that mistreated them, Krell. So it gave an underlining hint of tragedy.
Oh yeah, and honestly, something I want to add in is that, really, I'm actually glad that the show aired after the prequels were released.
Oh, definitely.
Because I feel like, I mean, we all know Order 66 is going to happen.
Yes.
But the fact that you're going to be putting clones up that actually are going to laugh and
have good
talk
personalities,
to each other, have conversations,
and have personalities
all the
too.
Stuff that and personalities that a typical human being would have. Even interacting more with the Jedi's makes it all the better and gives you more, like, gives the entire show more emotion to give to the audience.
I know. We'll get
compared to the prequels.
We will get to season 7. in a hot minute, but you are completely right. It's the same way why Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship works, because you're still invested even though you know it's going to end in tragedy. And speaking of Ahsoka, she was she was very annoying in the Clone Wars movie. Like, I will say that up front. She was very annoying there. She kind of felt like what Ezra was, the kid that all the kids want to be. Then we got then the series developed her, gave her more of a personality, and now she's one of the most beloved people, one of the most beloved characters in all of Star Wars. That and the show did that for a lot of characters. And the ones they introduced, for the most part, were pretty badass. Let's talk about Cad Bane.
Yes. Honestly, out of all the bounty hunters, up to the Mandalorian himself, he is probably by far my second favorite bounty hunter.
Now, do you mean the
Don't get me
Mandalorian?
wrong.
Wait, do you
Like,
mean do you mean the Mandalorian in the Star Wars TV show, or do you mean Boba Fett?
TV show.
Okay,
The
good.
TV show. Don't get me wrong. I kind of honestly, I know there's books about at least this particular character, but maybe a TV show or like a movie of either Boba Fett or Jango Fett would honestly be cool.
I don't
Like,
know.
I don't know
You
about that.
really don't think twice about them. Like in the movies, all they give you is like, oh yeah, these two guys, yeah, no, they're bad.
Okay,
Well,
you
they
know
don't
what?
really explain why they're bad, except the fact that they're bounty hunters, like how they came to be.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
okay.
I don't think that's
never-
such a good idea.
Okay, I was gonna talk about Cad Bane, but I want to talk about one of the things I think the show genuinely did bad, and that is Boba Fett. He was so whiny. He did not feel like a character, and the sad part is, he kind of starts out kind of interesting. He infiltrates a bunch of clone cadets with the goal of killing Mace Windu. And that's fine. That's awesome. But he's also working with two bounty hunters, one of which is a Trandoshan named Tarask, who I'm probably, again, butchering the pronunciation, but he's not really a character invested, and a very badass lady named Alora Singh. She is manipulating the kid. And she goes farther than the kid ever will. She's willing to kill others. And Boba Fett doesn't want to kill others. The freaking bounty hunter who one day...
Yeah. The most ruthless bounty hunter throughout space.
Oh, you were sacking?
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Dude, that was a-
the ruthless bounty hunter had a conscience. I hated that. And it never...
Alright, is this any better?
It's better. And it
Alright.
never got any better either. Do you remember, Jacob, do you remember the episode where Asajj Ventress became a bounty hunter?
Now that one, what season was that in?
I want to say either 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't distinctly remember that one. In
Okay.
particular.
So what happens is Asajj works with Boba Fett. He is the boss of the job. He's a lot more cocky, very annoying, and still doesn't feel like a character. He is transporting cargo for this very disgusting lord type character, politician, something. I can't remember exactly what. It turns out they're trafficking a girl to him. The implications are there. Like, I don't need to say what the implications of that are.
So it's like Jabba, but not Jabba.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And Boba Fett's like, during the travel, this one guy is trying to stop them. And Boba Fett's like, what? We're transporting a girl? And that guy comes in and he's like, don't worry, I'll protect you. And the girl's like, bitch, he's trying to rescue me from you. What? And he gets knocked out pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And hell, I think the show realized they made Boba Fett a joke. Because Asajj Ventress, after she defeats that guy, puts Boba Fett in the container the girl was in and gives that to the Lord, escapes with his money, and lets the girl go after they pay her. Now let's talk about an awesome bounty hunter. Cad Bane was fucking awesome.
Cad
Oh,
Bane
fuck yeah.
definitely
It took
was.
I don't even watch a whole lot, and I know that.
Oh my god. Well, he actually felt like a threat, which is impressive when you have Jedi who can lift rocks and use the Force.
Yeah.
He's the only few people, or actually the only like person to actually successfully infiltrate the Jedi Temple's holocron library,
But that was badass. He also
which was bad.
He also saved Zero the Hutt. He also held the Senate hostage, like a bunch of senators hostage, including Anakin Skywalker. He was selected among to help kill Chancellor Palpatine by Count Dooku. He was awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Now his story ends.
He had both the skill and the brains.
He's honestly a better bounty hunter and could probably win a fight with Jango Fett or Boba Fett.
Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that because in Filoni's original plan, when he was still making the series before it got canceled, he had an arc with Boba Fett and Cad Bane, where Cad Bane took the kid under his ropes and taught him his ways. Boba Fett was in his full Mandalorian outfit. I'm not sure on how the story goes, but eventually Boba Fett and Cad Bane end off in a Old West type shootout where they're standing across from each other. First draw, they shoot each other. Cad Bane dies and Boba Fett lives because he shot the helmet. That's how Cad Bane dies.
Yeah.
Which is awesome in theory, but I don't know if they fix Boba Fett's character in that, because again, I know very little about the actual story. I just saw the unrendered CGI clip of the gunfight happening.
I think that's definitely a good way to send Cad Bane off, though.
Yeah.
The question is it a good way to send Boba Fett into the world?
It might have been.
Maybe. I mean, when I...
The real question is could Cad Bane fix the obvious character flaw of Boba Fett in Clone Wars?
Yeah, that's
That's where the big question comes in.
I'm not sure.
That is a big question.
Yeah. Also, fucking Darth Maul. So, Titan, you don't know what happened with Darth Maul at the Clone Wars, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I remember seeing him like a few times. That was it.
So as it turns out, Darth Maul had a brother named Savage Opress. He is... I'm using air quotes here. Employed... Put under the service of the Night Sisters to work for Dooku. This is all an attempt for Asajj Ventress to get...
Yeah, no, I remember that one. I remember that.
Yeah,
So
that one.
That was actually a really good one, though. I think they overhyped Savage Opress, because if I'm good to be honest, Savage is just a brute. A powerful brute, but just a brute.
Yeah.
But getting back to it, Savage Opress finds Darth Maul in a junk world planet, where
Oh, yeah.
he used the Force to survive, and he went insane after the events of Phantom Menace. Because he's been alone, isolated, and only fueled on the dark side, as well as cut in half. He takes him to Mother Talzin, the leader of the Night Sisters, who saves him by restoring his mind and body, giving him new robotic legs. And then his goal is revenge. And here's where they give Maul a character. He expresses sorrow, regret, and anger over the fact that he was replaced. He expresses hatred of Kenobi, who stole his life from him. And immediately after, he goes to kill Kenobi. in theory, and it worked. Well, narratively it worked. In the show, he failed. Kenobi escaped. He then tried
Yeah,
setting
no,
up
of course.
a criminal ring, but Kenobi thwarted it. So then Maul was adrift at space with his brother. He lost one of his legs. Savage lost an arm. Oh yeah. You want to know that
Can I just point out that Savage is very obviously supposed to be a fucking portmanteau to fucking Savage?
Yeah, we all know. But that's another thing about the show. They actually show the arm getting cut off. They show the arm fall off the body. They don't use blood. They use green smoke. But they do show the arm getting cut off.
Well, yeah, because there wouldn't be any blood. You just cut somebody with a fucking... The laser as hot as a star, basically. The wound would be instantly cauterized.
Oh, no. In the Phantom Menace, there was a bit of blood when Maul got cut in half.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a brief splash, but like it wasn't actively bleeding. But my point is, they showed a guy's arm get cut off on a children's network. Even if you censor that, like they did a little bit, it's still a guy's arm getting cut off, and they show the arm.
Oh yeah,
off.
that's still something a kid sees and it's like, oh shit.
No, I saw that as a kid. I was like, hell yeah!
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what you think, but I guarantee there were a lot of kids that are like, oh
I'm
shit.
Sure. I'm sure.
And I don't mean oh shit as in like a bad thing. I mean they're like, oh fuck, they really just did that.
Yeah, or we're like, what happened? But
we were like, ooh,
so,
wow, violence. Does
yeah.
not want my mom to catch me watching this.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
then Maul is picked up by a group of terrorist Mandalorians known as Death Watch. He then builds a criminal empire, so that they can conquer Mandalore. Their plan was for the ruler to look incompetent with a huge spree of crime of Mandalore, and then Death Watch will come in and be like, hey, we're helping you guys. And it worked. The people wanted the leader of Death Watch, Pre Vizsla, on the throne, and for Duchess Satine to be off.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where the inevitable betrayal comes in, because both sides knew they were going to betray the other. So Pre Vizsla's like, hey, Maul's like, hey, we need to expand. We can take the other systems. And Pre Vizsla's like, I don't care about that. I just want Mandalore. Put them in prison. And there's where Maul finds an advisor to the Duchess who was kind of corrupt and was already in jail. And he asks him, how do I get the respect of the Mandalorians? And he's like, challenge him to one-on-one combat. If you beat him fairly, by tradition, they are honor-bound to follow you. So that's what Maul does. He doesn't use the Force. He only uses his lightsaber because Pre Vizsla has his dark saber.
Yeah.
And they fight, and it's one of the best villain moments because Maul wins, he brutalizes Pre Vizsla, then beheads him, and claims his rightful place as the ruler of Mandalore, ruling from the shadows while that advisor rules in the public.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lures Kenobi there by having the Duchess send out a message for him to rescue her. Well, they let her escape briefly to get the message out. Obi-Wan comes in, tries to rescue Satine, fails, gets captured, and here is one of Maul's best moments. Jacob, you know the scene I'm talking about. Tell them what happens.
Oh yeah. So wait, are you talking about the fight against Ahsoka?
No. I'm talking about when Maul, before Maul fights Palpatine, with Maul, Kenobi, and Satine. Remember that scene in the throne room?
Actually, that is a moment that I do not remember.
Okay, I'll explain it then. Okay, so Maul's in the throne room. He's telling Kenobi, I'm more powerful than you. You should use your anger. And Kenobi's like, those who resist that kind of power are stronger than you'll ever be. And then he tries to sympathize with Maul. I know where you came from. I know the decision to join the evil side was not yours. So Maul tells him that, hey, you're the person who made me this way. I laid in anguish for years when you tried to kill me. And then he kills Satine who I forgot to mention for you, Titan, but was kind of the love interest of Obi-Wan, in front of him, and she dies in his arms.
Yeah, I actually did know about that one.
Okay. But yeah, so she dies, and Maul's on top. Then Sidious comes in, like, that night. Okay, Jacob, you got to remember Sidious versus Maul, correct? Jacob?
That was a fight that I do not remember ever happening.
That was like the second best fight. Okay, so Chancellor Palpatine's like, Maul's becoming a problem for me. I have to deal with this. So he goes to Mandalore, chokes out a bunch of Mandalorians with the Force, and Maul's like, oh shit, he's here. So then they fight. Sidious is using 2 lightsabers, and he's toying with Maul and Savage. Like, he is laughing, he is flipping around. There is no contest here. Sidious is the better combatant. He kills Savage Opress and leaves Maul alive for other uses. I gotta tell you, when the Clone Wars was canceled, I hated that they never resolved that plot line.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Oh, I was so pissed.
They had a lot of good fights in the Clone Wars, honestly.
They did, but obviously the standout one was Maul versus Ahsoka because they used motion capture for that.
Oh yeah, no, they did. That one was really good.
Honestly, Filoni had a rough start, but he made a lot of good content when it came down to it. Oh, he also had Jar Jar episodes. They sucked. We all know they suck. Moving on.
That sounds awesome.
You know,
Oh
out
my
of
God.
all the
Go ahead,
you know,
Jacob.
there was one episode that was actually for kids would scare the living crap out of them. It was the episode where they went into the that one undead queen's underground base, and then the very next episode, all the clones are infected with some sort of
Oh my God, that's right.
disease.
So what happened was, somehow this... Okay, so in episode 2, the planet they were on at the end was Geonosis. That was the first battle of the Clone Wars. Somehow, the Separatists took them back, and it's revealed that the Geonosian Queen has these worm-like alien creatures that can go into a person's brain and control them. They're effectively parasites.
Yeah.
That was...
Honest,
Yeah.
that was dark. Here's the thing: what really made it dark is that they actually showed the worms going into their not the inside of their head,
the nose. They went
not
into
like
the nose.
they showed them going up through the nose, which for a show on a kids networking channel, that was dark.
I mean,
More dark than honestly cutting off a person's arm.
well, I mean, they also show someone get beheaded in the Clone Wars. Like, Savage throw his double-bladed lightsaber across a table, and you don't see you hear the noises saying falling off, and then when the scene gets up, you see them with no heads.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Clone Wars was really dark, and if I'm going to be honest, probably my favorite, and I say probably because a new show came along that sort of questioned that for me, as we can now talk about The Mandalorian.
The thing I haven't seen.
Okay.
You need to see.
It's really good.
It really is good. It's the best thing since Clone Wars.
I was going to, but when I had Disney Plus, Jacob was watching it, and I didn't want to like start it and it like lose his place or anything.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't have cared. I mean, there was only 8 episodes, but yeah, no, I see your reasoning.
Well,
When I get a chance, I'm gonna get Disney Plus, but because you really ought to watch it. You'll enjoy it.
in a time where live-action Star Wars is heavily divisive, it was nice to see a show that united the fan base. That said, this was actually really good. Because The Mandalorian was really good.
Oh, it was good, huh?
I
Minus
can't wait for
Baby
season
Yoda.
2.
It
Yoda
felt
was
like
good.
Star Wars was supposed to be, from what I've heard a lot of people said.
Yes. And also, Baby Yoda is good. What are you talking about, Jacob? Baby
No,
Yoda.
okay.
Okay.
Baby Yoda's
Baby
adorable.
Yoda's cute and adorable, but like the show that it the the Mandalorian was better than Baby Yoda.
Yeah, because Baby
Oh
Yoda's a
yeah,
baby.
but that doesn't mean Baby Yoda was bad.
Yeah, no, I
Baby
loved Baby
Yoda.
Yoda because they kept his origin a mystery. What
Oh,
is
I
he?
know.
Why is he 50
I was
years
joking
old?
with that one.
Oh,
It was
okay.
really good though. I just yeah, I do like the Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's not even the fact that they kept the origin like a secret.
Well,
Honestly, the
it's a TV
best
show.
thing about the Baby Yoda, and honestly, I could say this with with any other sort of like babies, is it showed how the Mandalorian transferred, and this is spoilers, sign. It showed how the Mandalorian transferred from being a cold-hearted bounty hunter to being essentially its father,
Effectively. But
effectively. But it was still a nice and wholesome thing to see for a
it
show that
was.
about someone going and taking down bounties.
Yeah. And the stuff around the main plot of the show was good. There was eventually a point in that show where, like, it became formulaic. Okay, here's this random planet. Here's the problem. Here's your celebrity guest star. Here's a bantha. Here's a
Yeah.
Tusken Raider. Like,
Oh wait, and here's some credits, by the way, some Imperial credits. Oh
yeah. No, not Imperial credits. Like, it became formulaic to the point where, like, it was Monster of the Week type formula. But
yeah,
some of it was not all bad. Like, the episode where they're on the forest and teaching the locals how to fight back against the remnants of the Empire was good, and it also established that female lady who would become important again. The heist episode was also really fun.
oh, the heist episode was really fun.
I genuinely thought the Tatooine episode was kind of meh. Because in the grand scheme of the show, it didn't do anything.
Let's not forget all the PTSD flashbacks he's had ever since while he's inside watching his armor be made. That
Okay,
happened every
that wasn't
time.
that episode though. I'm talking about the one where the Mandalorian is on Tatooine and helping that other bounty hunter get a bounty. That
Oh yeah, that one.
the fact that you don't even remember that episode speaks volumes about it.
I was trying to differentiate if that was either on the Clone Wars or that one, because there's a lot more screen time of
No.
Tatooine on Clone Wars.
I actually don't think Tatooine ever was. I don't think they ever went to Tatooine on the Clone Wars.
Tatooine's a barren slave planet.
It is, but I don't.
It was never meant to be something big story based.
No.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they ever went to Tatooine in the Clone Wars. Oh, they went in the movie. The movie, that's where they went.
Yeah.
But they never went.
Well, actually, there was another episode on Tatooine for that guy. Whenever the Jawas took apart his ship.
No, that wasn't on Tatooine.
Really?
That was not on Tatooine. That was on a different planet. The Jawas are not stuck on Tatooine. They can be anywhere.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've always thought Tatooine was mainly on Tatooine as a whole.
So you're saying that Tatooine is on Tatooine?
Tatooine. It's on that Tatooine.
You phrased that badly, Jacob. I'm sorry. Just
No, I was just meaning that I always thought that Jawas primarily lived
okay.
on Tatooine.
No,
as, like,
they
a
don't.
whole, like that's like their main planet.
Maybe it's their main planet, but that's not where they all are. That is not where they all are. They are.
Oh, to be honest, in a world where there's an intergalactic society, most things don't. A majority of species don't live on their home planet.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that
but
was-
to be fair, they kind of put Tatooine on that spot where it's like, oh yeah, this is a very big scavenging planet. These are some Jawas, little
Yeah.
little midgets that want to steal apart parts from ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Tatooine is known for having a
Jawas.
crap ton of like scrap for people to go and raid off of.
Oh yeah,
So
but
it's like it's never really talked about.
yeah, but
You know that they're
that
on a
episode.
different planet.
I know the episode you're talking about. That was not on Tatooine. I know that for a
Alright.
fact. I don't know the name of the planet, but it definitely wasn't Tatooine.
I thought it was like a different part of Tatooine because like I said, there isn't that many desert planets. The only desert planet that's been talked about at all up until that
Jakku.
point was...
Jakku. There was also Jakku, which was Diet Tatooine, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, like, Tatooine, though.
It really was. Like, it was supposed to be a different planet, but it really was just Diet Tatooine.
You know, honestly, quick topic, real quick. That would be something that'd be interesting as well. It's, like, kind of a show on like some of the other planets within the galactic system at that point, other than just the main ones that are talked about.
I wouldn't say that necessarily,
It
because
depends
part
on
of the
how you
big
do it.
appeal of Star Wars is switching around a lot.
Oh my god! I just remembered about a show that we were not going to cover that I have never seen. Star Wars Resistance.
That's a show?
That was a
That's
show.
a show?
It's a show. It takes place like around the time of Force Awakens, a little bit before and a little bit after. That was a show.
The fact that we don't know about it speaks volumes.
When was that show ever released?
I think like a few years ago. All I know about is that
yeah, I remember hearing about Star Wars.
I think the only thing I know about is that maybe one of the characters is Mother is a First Order officer. Oh, I'm a huge
okay,
The fact that we
no.
don't know anything about it speaks
I
wide
think-
So,
volumes.
real quick, let me put this into specific. So apparently it had a 92% Rotten Tomatoes. It started October 7th of 2018.
That makes sense.
Ended January 6th, 2020,
That
and it
also
only
makes
has a 4.9 out of 10 in IMDb.
Oh my,
That says a lot.
that says a lot. It's like I think it
I
falls
think
under.
they were trying to ride off the end of Rebels.
No, I think they were trying to write off Last Jedi, like the new sequel trilogy, because it again took place in the sequel trilogy era.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars Force of Destiny one, was that really?
Those were shorts. Those were shorts, but
Okay. I mean,
Shorts
has
aren't
very
technically
good ratings for
spin-offs.
it.
as arguably the biggest Star Wars buff here, it speaks volumes that I forgot that existed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, but maybe people liked it. What do you think? Comment in the YouTube section if you had fond memories of Resistance, or if it was as mediocre as we're assuming. And let us know what your favorite Star Wars show was.
Or if it was just absolute crap.
Yeah. Well,
Honestly, that would be an interesting thing at some point to sit down and just kind of
I
watch.
don't think so. But let us know
No,
what the...
the-
I feel like you'll stop the moment you
I
start.
feel like I'll stop after one episode. But
Exactly.
let us know what you guys think about that. Until then, this has been Throwing the Podcast.
Exactly, because we don't want to look at it.
Yeah, until then, this has been Throwing the Podcast. We will see you next time.